What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Ask the Skinny Guy Savior. I'm Vince Del Monte, and we've got a hot question today. We're going to be talking about how to bust through a weight loss plateau. I'm going to give you my specific steps, a very precise protocol I take with each of my clients to take them, say, from 40 pounds of being overweight right down to being single-digit body fat. This is a similar approach I use with a client who I helped lose 100 pounds in 6 months as well. Very simple. I don't make things complicated. I like what Einstein said, make things as simple as possible but not any simpler. So this question's coming from Armando. By the way, these questions are coming right off my Facebook fan page, and if you're not connected to that community, make sure you do that as well, because that's where I do a lot of free giveaways, contests, and I put up a lot of daily motivation, recipes, cool stuff over there. Things that are different than what we do here on the YouTube channel. So get connected to the fan page as well. Just click the like button and you'll instantly get all the updates sent to your fan page or to your Facebook news thingy. You know what I'm talking about, the news feed there. All right, so Armando gets the question today. Armando Falcon, thank you, sir. He says, what do you do when you've hit a plateau? Meat and nuts breakfast, CLA, caloric deficit, cardio and weight training, bigger caloric deficit. So yeah, all those things may play a role, but this is how I do it. The first thing is I need to ensure you're following a good plan. All right, so we need to make sure you're getting a balance of proteins, carbs, fats. We need to ensure the food sources are of high quality. Let's just assume that you've got a good plan. Let's assume you're working with a coach, or you invested in one of my programs, or somebody who knows what they're talking about. So you've invested in their program and you've got a good plan. I'm going to assume you've got a good plan. Next thing is to ensure that you're adhering to the plan 90% of the time. And this is where most people see the greatest amount of return on their results, when they just start following the plan. You've probably heard that quote, the best plan is the one that you follow. So the best diet is the one that you follow. The best workout is the one that you follow. So I want to ensure that you're following it 90% of the time. That way we can measure and we can take control and we can make improvements. Now, how do you know if you're following it 90% of the time? This is something that we learn in precision nutrition, Dr. John Berardi's master's level nutrition certification, which I have. And one of the things he teaches us to do with our clients is this. Very simple. I've been doing this for over 10 years now, since being a trainer. And we basically look how many meals they're eating each day. Let's say it's 5, just for argument's sake, 5 meals a day, 7 days a week, that's 35 meals per week. Every time you follow your meal, you get a check mark. So let's say, okay, that's one part. Every time you miss a meal or you cheat on your diet, you don't eat what you're supposed to, you get an X. So at the end of the week, you count up all the check marks and you see how compliant, how adherent you were to the plan. So let's say I nailed it. I only missed, say 2 meals and I cheated twice. So that's 4 times 4 X's. So 31 divided by 35. Dave, what's that? What's it like about 31%, 90, it's about like 89, 90%, something like that. If you got a calculator, it's around 90%, which means I'm compliant, which means I can make an educated decision on whether what I'm doing is effective or not. So I can make a decision at the end of the week. What happens is a lot of people say, I hit a plateau, but they really didn't hit a plateau. They just didn't do what they were supposed to do the previous week. And this is where you play a huge role in your results. You have to take responsibility and you have to get involved and you have to implement and wake up early and you plan your meals and make sure you're doing your road work so that you can make an educated, informed decision at the week on what actually happened. Did what you eat implement or impact the way you look now? So that's the first thing. Are you adherent to the program? So Armando, the steps that I take with a client if they hit a plateau are these. The first thing we do is, yes, we reduce the calories. Let's assume you're adherent to the plan. We reduce them about 20-25%. All right, and then we continue as is. Everything else stays the same. Exercise and expenditure stays the same. If you hit another plateau, which often happens 2 or 3 weeks later, then we increase energy output for probably 2 to 3 weeks, which will get you probably to a point where you hit then another plateau. So how much energy output do? We add in 2 cardio sessions, interval sessions specifically for 20 minutes, all right? If we hit another plateau after that, we reduce calories again 25%. Keep everything else the same, all right? We'll let another few weeks go by. If we hit another plateau, we increase energy expenditure again. So we bump it up to 4 sessions a week, 4 interval sessions a week, 20 minutes. And that's how we do it. So we reduce calories, increase energy. Reduce calories, increase energy, and we do that in about 2 to 3 week waves. The decisions are actually made when we hit a plateau. So most of my clients find that that is the pattern, that's the trend most of them go through. It obviously varies from person to person, but that's simply the protocol we do. We don't drop calories, increase energy expenditure all at once. What we try to avoid at all costs is doing both at the same time, which is what most people do. They back themselves into a corner. They go from 0 cardio a week to 6 days a week of cardio. They go from eating 300 grams of carbs a day to 0 grams of carbs a day. The whole goal is to make the smallest changes possible, which will end up producing the greatest amount of change. So we're looking for small changes that make a big impact. And that protocol, I hope it makes sense, is how we do that over a period of time until you get to your ultimate goal weight or level of leanness. All right, Armando, thanks for the question, and thanks everybody who's been tuning in and participating in the conversation below, and liking the videos and sharing the videos with your friends. That means a lot to me. I got something for you today. I want to know your #1 weight loss tip. Not weight loss, let's keep it more specific to fat. Your #1 fat loss tip, the one thing that has never failed you, that always comes through when you need to lose another few pounds. What do you do? Let me know below, and let's get a great conversation started. I'll talk to you guys soon.